And it's great, it's beautiful if you're happy, right?
Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
Yes, no. Don't be jealous. I'll try hard, really hard, you know. And when she's 30, she sees all her friends who stayed in school, who got a master's, who started working, and they're doing well in their career, and all she has at 35, she has 16-year-olds. So, no, maybe not 16-year-olds, but you get what I mean. You know, she has grown children and nothing else. And, you know, you're so used to each other, you know how marriage, you know, smoothens the rough edges and all. And suddenly she wants something for herself, and she has it, feels like she must have a right to it, you know.
Do you find that, do you think that would happen with you?
That I would...
You'd want, you see, if you get older without actually getting married before a certain age, do you think you'd...
I think I'd start to get stressed.
Why would you get stressed?
Yeah.
What? Explain it, yes.
That's cool. And what's that age?
Every girl wants to be married. I want to be married. I wish to be married.
See, because you want to be married?
Yes.
Why do you want to be married?
Why not?
No,
why do you
want a
want
bit
to
more
be yourself?
reasons. Why do you yourself want...
Security.
Who says marriage gives you security?
No, but that's how,
No, I'm just asking. I'm trying to make her...
Financial security, why not?
What else?
Okay.
You can have your own money, but why not have more with his?
His money too.
Yes. Children, of course. Children.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, I like have my children from one man. I don't want
There's
a
that thing
divorce
as well,
and have other
yes,
children
yes.
outside.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are the big two, security and children.
And children.
And then they say when you stay with somebody at least in old age, you're not going to be lonely, and that's the reason why a lot of people.
I think I'm going to come out of the whole marriage perception and go back to like singlehood, especially for the Generation Z. So I don't really understand why people in my generation date people way older than they are for not values, but for things like financial reasons or things like getting things out of them. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Wrong as well.
So
It's laziness now.
yes, especially.
And I'm glad you said that in your generation, because you also have young men doing the same thing. I almost don't go to any gym now. It's now a practice for the gym instructors to actually kind of want to help you with the machines and everything because they want to copy feel and they invite you to be your personal trainer. I didn't figure it out on time. I just figured it out last year. And I thought, get away from me if I wanted a personal
Married.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, like this, there's some people that you feel like maybe they're too skinny, or maybe they're too dirty, or maybe they're too...
Anyone who is unmarried, there's a reason you're not married. I know why I'm not married. Everyone...
It's fair to say that
For most. And there's some things.
Why are you not married?
Okay, I'm not married because I found purpose such that if I don't get married, my life won't be empty. What I want from marriage right now is someone that I will build, who would share, our visions would align because we're building something together. I'm not looking
the person, you're allowed to tell the person.
I mean,
but
if your friend...
I was watching this. I'm not ready to be in a relationship, but if there's any hot guy looking at me here, he's like, oh, I'm here.
Sell it, girl. Twirl. No.
So much fun.
Well, thank you for joining us on TW Conversations. Have a lovely, lovely evening.
Thank you so much.
And then when they go for the 25,
Where's my phone?
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshuke.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
What will you concede that he hasn't done well, considering his 3-point agenda when he was coming into office?
There are some that he has succeeded to a large extent. There are some where he has succeeded very well. There are some
TV Africa and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
Comic Republic is a Nigerian startup where we tell African stories. We push the African narrative forward through a traditional art form that is popular all around the world, which is comic books.
We kind of write stories that everybody can find a bit of themselves somewhere in there. You know, when you read our books, you will always be able to find one book that you are able to connect with, even if you're not an African. It's not just for Africans alone, but it's the African narrative. That's really what we do.
We take the process of telling our stories, you know, making our comic books engaging. We do it professionally and we take it as a business. We're growing bigger every day.
You know, we try to make sure that all of our comics, all of our content has a positive message underlying them, even apart from all the action, all the punching and all the superheroics.
Right now we have close to 48,000 downloads per comic book. We get between 5,000 to 7,000 unique visitors every week. Nigerians have been really excited to see people in Nigeria creating heroes from Nigerians, telling Nigerians that we can be everything we need to be if we only try. The comic business actually has a wide range.
One of the major things that actually helps us to move forward here is the fact that we are more than just a team, we are a family. And family is everything. We understand ourselves, we know what we're meant to do when we're meant to do, and we get them done.
The first and foremost vision for Comic Republic is to take control of the African narrative. Who are the biggest superheroes you know today? You're looking at Spider-Man, Captain America, and Superman. If you look at the colors of their uniform, they're all the colors of the American flag. If you look at where those people come from, they come from America. This is a way that a country has from generation to generation, you know, programmed their people to believe that they are strong and they are efficient. We want to do the same with Comic Republic. That's what we want to do at Comic Republic. That's our vision. And until we're number one at that in the world, we're not going to stop.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
Good evening, I'm Tolu Ojo. With this is the news update. Tragedy struck on Saturday in Sokoto as an industrial fire at a Boer cement factory resulted in the death of 3 persons, while 3 others were injured. Other equipment and valuables had also been destroyed by the inferno. The incident started on Friday morning. Combined teams of federal and state fire service officers are still battling the blaze. An interim situation information indicated that the inferno is suspected to have been caused by an uploading fuel tanker. Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA has confirmed that 8 persons died in a communal clash that's between Alesi community in Ikom local government area and their neighbors Ochun community in Obrobra local government area. Mr. Godwin Tekpiko, the South-South Zonal Coordinator of NEMA, made the confirmation during an on-the-spot assessment of the communal crisis in both communities on Saturday. Tekpiko said that the crisis broke out as a result of a land dispute between the 2 neighboring communities. No fewer than 2,008 persons were affected and had been displaced. It has been bombed by unknown gunmen. PlusTV correspondents gathered that unknown gunmen drove into the compound, shot indiscriminately for over 15 minutes. That was before setting the building ablaze using improvised explosive devices, IEDs, and petrol bombs. Confirming the incident, the state PPRO, Michael Abatum, said there was no official report of any loss of life. The FCC said former Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra was being quizzed over the alleged misappropriation of 42 billion naira belonging to the state. The former governor was being interrogated over alleged misapplication of 5 billion naira Shopee and 37 billion naira security vote withdrawn in cash. The commission had said that the former governor was in its custody undergoing interrogations after his arrest on March 17. Now, Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, says the federal government will carry out a ruling ordering the repeal of Section 84, Section 12 of the amended Electoral Act 2022. Malami spokesperson Omar Gwandu, in a statement, said the federal government will take the required action in response to the court verdict. President Muhammadu Buhari had signed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, but requested that Section 84, Subsection 12 be deleted, which states that no political appointee at any level shall be a voting delegate or be voted for at the convention or congress of any political party for the purpose of the nomination of candidates for any election. Justice Evelyn Anyadike of the Federal High Court in Umuahia, Abia State, had ruled that the section was unconstitutional, invalid, illegal, null, void, and cannot stand. Again, tragedy struck in the Bauchi state as 3 people lost their lives while 16 others sustained various injuries in a lone auto crash. Crash on speed violation and lung diseases in the country. Chairman House Committee on AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria, Abubakar Dahiru, at the 2022 Pre-World TB Day press conference in Abuja, explained that TB remains one of the highest killer diseases in the world, and that it was high time the legislative and executive for the deadly disease in the country. Now, other parts of Africa, the crisis over control of executive power in Libya could lead to instability. Libya's political crisis has escalated since the collapse of a scheduled election in December. It was planned as part of a peace process to reunify the country. That's after years of chaos and war following a 2011 NATO-backed uprising. Let's move outside Africa. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Saturday it would be a mistake to normalize relations with President Vladimir Putin following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Johnson said this at a Conservative Party conference. Take a listen.
Victorious Putin will not stop in Ukraine, and the end of freedom in Ukraine will mean the extinction of any hope of freedom in Georgia and then Moldova. It will mean the beginning of a new age of intimidation across the whole of Eastern Europe, from the Baltic to the Black Sea. And if Putin succeeds in crushing Ukraine, it will be the green light for autocrats everywhere, in the Middle East, in the Far East. This is a turning point for the world. And it's a moment of choice. It's a choice between freedom and oppression. And I know there are some around the world, even in some Western governments, who invoke what they call realpolitik, and who say that we're better off making accommodations with tyranny. I have to say I believe they are profoundly wrong. And that to try to re-normalize relations with Putin after this, as we did in 2014, would be to make exactly the same mistake again. And
when we're facing a tyrant like Vladimir Putin, the only thing he understands is strength. We need to stand up for our societies, and we must never let our guard down again. Our new trade and security deals are with our allies, not our opponents. That's why AUKUS is so important, helping our Australian friends acquire the nuclear submarines they need to defend their territory. That's why NATO is so important, and it's why we're strengthening it for a new era. The UK is the biggest European spender in NATO, and we're building up our support, our troops in Estonia and Poland.
Apparently, things will never remain the same again through this week, but Russians remain in limbo. Some were seen camping on the pavement alongside a barbed wire border fence. They're defying warnings from Mexican authorities to clear out. Over 3 million Ukrainians have fled since the invasion. According to the United Nations, thousands of Russians have also left their homeland. Some entertainment news. A reality television show, The Real Housewives of Lagos, is set to start airing exclusively on video streaming platform Showmax on April 8th, with new episodes every Friday. The show follows the opulent lives of 6 ladies believed to be the most glamorous women in Lagos, Nigeria. Carolina Hutchins is into real estate, oil and gas, and agriculture. Laura Ikeji, a social media influencer, author, and entrepreneur. Chima Ikoku, a lawyer, is also a co-founder and CEO of a luxury hair brand, and Toyin Lawani Adebayo, a renowned celebrity stylist. Sports news. The Ricketts family, who own Major League Baseball team, the Chicago Cubs, a consortium featuring Lloyd Cole and another group, he had secured additional investment from South Korea, and that his bet is over £2 billion. Now, reigning world champion Fabio Quartararo dominated a chaotic Indonesia Grand Prix qualifying session. That's to take pole position in Mandalika on Saturday as MotoGP returned to the country for the first time in a quarter of a century. Quartararo's title defense got off to a miserable start at the season opener in Qatar. That's where he qualified 11th and finished the race in 9th, but the 22-year-old put his Yamaha on top with a time of 1 minute and 31.067 seconds.
It feels good to be back on the pole position because, like you said, it's been a while, and I think that, it's great. I felt great on the bike, and more than the pole position is my FP4 that actually I was doing a lot of laps in a row, doing a great pace, so I'm more happy about that. And also here was important to start from the front row, and from the first position is even better.
That's a news update. For more stories, please follow us at PlusTvAfrica on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I'm Tolu Jeremy. Thanks for watching. Good evening.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
And 500 naira they collect them. If you don't talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Across the world, 1 in 3 women has been bitten, coerced into sex, or abused by people they know, love, and trust. Here in Nigeria, 1 in 5 women has been a victim of abuse. Gender-based violence is the leading cause of death and disability of women between the ages of 19 to 44. Queen James, not her real name, a 47-year-old writer based in Lagos, was married off at 17. She barely knew the man who was to become her husband.
I just finished from secondary school, and my parents were like, you have to marry, that they have somebody for me. I tried to argue that I want to go back to school. My parents said they don't have money for me to further education, so I didn't have any option than to accept.
Queen enjoyed the first decade of her marriage. Her husband paid for her university education, and they had 3 children together. In 2002, Queen's sister-in-law claimed she was a witch. Her husband believed it and turned against her. She suffered financial deprivation and domestic violence.
While I was in school, everything was going well until the senior sister came into the house. The sister kept telling him different stories, that he see a revelation, I'm going to kill him, I want to give him stroke. Now, at a point, he now told him that in fact I'm a witch, that I'm going to kill him if he doesn't send me out of the house. This man started beating me every day. If he has small problem in the office and come back, the sister will tell him, it's your wife. He wants them to sack you from work.
The United Nations defines violence as any act that results in physical, sexual, or mental harm or suffering to women, including threats of such acts, coercion, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty. Domestic violence is violence that occurs in a domestic setting, such as a marriage or cohabitation, committed by people in an intimate relationship against the other person.
Every night, he will squeeze my neck, tell me to confess all the wicked thing I'm doing to him, all the wicked thing I'm doing to the children, that there's a revelation I want to, kill my children. Another day he comes and they said I've already made a plan to kill him and take over his property, that I should tell him why I want to kill him. Everything was just like, like a dream to me. He did not allow me to go to shop. I only go and buy things, and the girl that was in the shop was the one selling at a point. He now locked up the shop, came back to the house. When I returned back to the house, I started looking for work. Anywhere I want to go and work, he will go and tell them not to employ me.
Like many women, Queen did not file for a divorce or leave her abusive relationship. She feared for her safety and the welfare of her children and decided to endure the misery. One day in 2005, Queen's husband did more than beat her. He armed himself with a pestle and broke her bone.
It was even my husband that used a piston, this mortar handle, and hit on my leg. My leg was broken, so I managed to my sister's place. My sister took me to the hospital. When I got there, they did x-ray. They said I have bone fracture. I called my parents. They said they should send me to the village. I went. They took me to hospital where they did my bone. I was there for 3 months.
That abuse contravened the Protection Against Domestic Violence Law of Lagos State 2007. The law prohibits violence against any person. It also empowers a police officer to arrest persons suspected of committing violent offenses. In addition, it directs the police to render assistance to victims of domestic violence. More than 4 billion naira was allocated to the police for travels and transport in Nigeria's 2005 national budget. But when Queen visited the police to get a report, officers demanded 6,000 naira as transport fare. She also claims the police officers accepted a bribe from her husband to dismiss the case.
I quite remember one of them saying that they have to treat that case very well because the man has paid a lot for the case, meaning they've collected money.
A 2019 survey by the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, reports that the Nigerian police force is the most corrupt institution in Nigeria. The report stated that a bribe is paid in 54% of interactions with the police. and that there is a 63% probability that an average Nigerian will be asked to pay a bribe each time he or she interacted with the police. With the police allegedly eating from the palm of her former husband, they accused her of attempted murder, arrested her sister, and he served her divorce papers.
Made a statement that armed robbers invaded his house. They went away with a property worth 2.5 million, with a cash of 180,000, attempted murder and all that. They shoot gun, they shoot the sister on the head. I said, this is not true. Okay, I gave my own statement. When I gave my own statement, they were now dragging me to cell. So I shouted, I was pleading for help. Before I know it, they came, they handcuffed me this time around. And they showed me arrest warrants, and that in my arrest warrant, no bail. That is how they took me to cell.
Her experience went downhill from there. The police turned around to arrest a victim who approached them for protection and locked her up at Kirikiri Maximum Prison for almost 3 weeks.
Do you know that when the police, my senior sister was seeing period, police women could not even help, even when we were begging them, please, this lady is on her period. Can you help us bring tissue? It did not bring. And there are other women like that. The place was smelling. There was nothing. I think she had to use her hair tie to try and wrap and use. The police are very rude. They don't take care of their inmates at all. They don't want to know whether what they have accused you of is true or is false.
These details expose a breach of fundamental rights to dignity of the human person, stipulated in Section 34 of the Nigerian Constitution. We put these allegations of corruption and human rights abuse in police custody to the Nigerian police force.
It's a professional misconduct. Once I get the facts, like every other professional misconduct of our men, we do allow it to go unattended to. So let's do that. As this one now, the victim, let them get across to me. They can meet the DC, the Commissioner Police. So can put up the attention to me, to the officers, so we take action. We don't condone anything that is unprofessional unless it's not brought to our knowledge. So in this case now, don't let me get the facts and to monitor it. I will not disappoint you. All those officers that have done that, one way or the other, found culpable, they will face additional procedure. And prescribed punishment should be meted out to them.
With the intervention of a non-governmental organization, Project Alert, Queen was set free. But she has not seen her children ever since.
It was during this period that I met with Project Alert on violence against women. They took over the case, they stood by me, went through the case, went for 7 years. We finished the case after 7 years and I was set free. Meanwhile, my children was taken from me from the time they pushed me out of that house. I did not have access to my children until now.
Josephine Chukwuma is the executive director of Project Alert. She condemns Nigeria's police force for breaking the domestic violence law of Lagos State 2007 and calls for these reforms in the force.
Is about the system not working. And why is the system not working? First and foremost is the issue of funding. What are they given? What funding do they get to operate? And then the capacity, the training of their officials, how professional are they? You need officers that are trained and well-resourced to respond to cases of sexual and gender-based violence.
Like many women, Queen now wears the scars of a broken leg, a broken marriage, and suffers the consequence of a broken justice system.
increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
Hello and welcome to Plus Events, your favorite social diary show that brings you the best and biggest events to your screen. I am Jacinta Obiuku. And on today's show, we have two interesting events that you will definitely enjoy. The UK Alumni Awards 2021-2022 has recognized and celebrated the benefits that studying at UK university has had on individuals, their community and country. All alumni would also be integrated into the global alumni body. That comes with additional national level awarding ceremonies. The ceremonies would be held in 23 countries. Take a look. It was an evening of celebration of the achievements of outstanding international alumni who have studied at the UK universities in the past 15 years. It was the 8th year of the prestigious awards, but the 3rd edition to be celebrated in Nigeria. These are the 12 finalists in Nigeria out of 1,500 applications received from alumni in more than 100 countries. That's representing alumni from around 80% of all UK higher education institutions. There are categories of Science and Sustainability Awards, Culture and Creative Awards, Social Action Awards, also Business and Innovation Awards.
We help young people to gain the skills, confidence, and connections they're looking for to realize their potential, to participate in strong and inclusive communities. These individuals, essentially represent our country's greatest assets, because when you talk about what's most valuable, our most valuable assets here in Nigeria, and it's our people, it's our youth, and not the oil.
Next is the presentation of certificates and then awards presentation to the winners.
And the winner in this category is Oluwafemi Adiola Adedigbe. Please put your hands together for him.
The winners who expressed their joy shared some of their achievements so far.
I'm an advocate of student education, and I take pride in developing students wherever I find myself as a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics ambassador. It's not just enough for us to fold our arms and see this, our kids not doing well in school, or to blame the system. It's for us to think inwards on what we can do to improve the system.
For me, this award feels like a well-deserved recognition for the impact I've been able to make with the CP community, which is a platform that supports international students in the UK with the right information, resources, and a supportive community. The international student journey in the UK tends to be a lonely one, but with the community, we're able to provide that emotional support that international students need in order to settle into the UK and navigate life there.
It was my studies in the UK, especially the environment created by the University of Southampton, that showed me how powerful entrepreneurship could be. For those of us who are Nigerians, we understand how tough entrepreneurship can be. It can be a very difficult journey, especially over the last 2-3 years because of all this pandemic.
If you see something in your community, if you see a need, if you see a problem that you're concerned about, don't wait for all the stars to align. Don't wait for the conditions to be perfect. Don't wait until you have all the credentials. Just take a step and decide to help one person. And you'll be surprised at how that can snowball into a movement that is way bigger than you.
British Deputy High Commissioner and Country Director, British Council Nigeria, believes Study UK has great impact in developing Nigeria.
I'm just so proud, really, of all of the excellent citizens of Nigeria, but also have that excellent education. So I'm really proud of them, really pleased, and it's a great way to celebrate them.
Super proud to have such, we know there's so much talent in Nigeria, but to recognise the talent, but to recognise it because the talent has studied in the UK, they've made connections, they've expanded their skills and experience, their academic credentials, but then they come back to Nigeria to make a difference, which is what it's all about, really. There's huge talent in Nigeria. There's huge potential and some challenges that need to be solved. And the talent that we've seen tonight through the Study UK Alumni Awards just show us what difference it can make when these talented individuals come back and put into practice the things that they've learned, the connections they've made. So I'll start where I began, super proud.
As a visual artist, I came to the UK to study international management. There I was able to learn mathematical skills, numerical skills, analytical skills, and critical skills that I was able to come back to Nigeria, and that was in 2008. Since I came back, I became a lecturer at the University of Port Harcourt, and while I was there, I started lecturing design management and graphics. Doing that, I was able to bring to play all that I learned in the UK.
Now, when you look at the situation in the country, you find that music is mostly done in private schools, and the public school children don't have this privilege. So it's like a big man picking thing, you understand? And when I was coming out too, I had that issue. You want to take violin lessons, and they are telling you pay 1 billion naira. And you can't even buy the instruments, they're also very expensive. I had this privilege of studying in the UK, and before I studied in the UK, I did geology. And then, because the music has been there, I had always wanted to switch to music. And then I heard that they had music production. You don't have it anywhere in Nigeria. You understand? So I did a master's in music production and emerged the first Nigerian woman, the first Nigerian to bag this degree. And coming back to Nigeria, I'm looking at making it, a thing in our own institution.
I feel great. I feel really blessed to be recognized for my work. So it feels good to be one of the finalists, especially to represent my university, to represent all the work that I've been doing. I feel really blessed.
We ask that you remain worthy ambassadors of the Study UK brand by continuing to strive for excellence, supporting the growth what you've started essentially by supporting growth in your immediate communities and country, and sharing your study experiences with others who might have similar ambitions in terms of studying internationally.
The 4 global winners will be invited to the UK for a professional networking visit to build their networks and boost their careers.
Damua, 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 damua batakareba. Damua, 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 damua batakareba. Damua, 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 damasaloli.
Well, I'm sure you enjoyed that. So our next interesting event is where the Federal Government Girls College, Abuloma Old Girls Association Lagos chapter organized a 3 days on the road from Abuloma conference to help the women create a workable structure that will attain success, as it's important for women to learn about money, how to make it, keep it, and invest it.
In this auditorium are the old students of the Federal Government Girls College Abuloma, and it's their very first on the road from Abuloma conference. This maiden edition is focused on the financial literacy, with the aim to enable women design a game plan towards protecting their financial future. The theme for this conference is Finding Our Balance, Building a Structure for Sustainable Wealth as Women.
The bank of the future. Please jam your hands together.
During the keynote address by a founding partner, Ms. Boma Alabi, she addressed the old students and encouraged them to take the first step as long as you know what and where you're going to.
As we build a structure for sustainable wealth for ourselves, we have to build to go beyond ourselves and impact our world. And we can. So on the road from Abuloma, what we must do is empower ourselves, get that balanced financial independence, have fun, and impact our universe. How? We'll get the lessons and then just do it. Face the fear and do it anyway.
Still addressing the matter on how women can build finance for their family, the guest speaker Shola Adesakin, who has over 20 years of experience as a chartered accountant, listed out major skills on having a sustainable wealth.
You cannot rise above what you think about money. You know why a lot of people feel exasperated by money issues? Mindset. And when you see money as something that is, hey, I cannot be rich. Money is only a representation of value. Value ideally should magnetize money. So the first thing, again, as I talk about financial literacy, is limiting beliefs. Those conditioning that you have had about money, those thoughts, those silly thoughts going on in your mind about how only corrupt people can have money, only educated people can have money. No, you can have money, and it starts from your mindset. I will recommend a book. I love the book so much. Get the book with it. It will sort of revolutionize your thinking about money. It is called A Happy Pocket Full of Money by Cameron G. Candy. Brilliant book. It will show you that beyond the action, there is the right mindset that attracts money to you. You see, they say that as a man thinketh, so is he. The Bible says that. You are literally what you think about yourself and what you think about the ability to build wealth.
A panel was set up to discuss about finding our balance as smart women and personal finance management.
I tell myself something. You can't conquer what you can't confront. So it's about understanding me. What are my limits? What can I actually do? And when I ask myself, what can I do? And how can I do it? I understand the obstacles that I can challenge. I also understand the obstacles that I have to walk around. So there's some that, head on, I face it, I fight. There's some that I'll just walk away. There's some maybe I just have to dig through it quietly. So having it all for me is dynamic. It changes from time to time. It's seasonal. So you can ask me, what's having it all today? And I'll tell you that, man, I just want to pay my daughter's law school fees. And let me know that if I do that, hey, I'm made.
To rebuild your life is a humongous task because you are building your mental health, you're building your physical health, you're building your financial health. And this is a limiting thing for women. We have to be honest. We are still Africans. In the African setting, divorce is a stigma for women. For men, it's an open door to continue your life. So it's something that we have to be honest about. I'm very, very frank when it comes, because I meet women every day. And you will see this woman, I'm like, there's a woman that we work with, her business, her turnover, annually on her own, without anybody's help, is 900 and something million naira annually. I'm like, do you realize how big this business is? She's not taking any debt from anybody. She's grown the business just with profits. This woman lacks the confidence to go and take debt. So I want to debunk this impression that is the illiterate, the unsuccessful woman that does not have confidence. It's not true.
I would like to say this with all sense of responsibility. There's never a one-size-fits-all when it comes to financial management. The fact that my friend, who is not in a paid employment, is doing something and she's getting returns doesn't mean I, who is in a paid employment, can, do the same thing.
Speaking with the president of the Federal Government Girls College Aboloma, she shared the aim of this conference and what they want to achieve from this association.
To make the woman, to find that balance. As a woman, what do? A mother, a wife, you forget you are you. You were you before any other thing. Do you understand? And we have this thing as when we feel guilty. When I'm growing in my career, have I neglected the family? Have I neglected the partner? But we want us to be comfortable in achieving everything, our balance. Okay, yes, I'm a mother. Yes, I'm a wife. But I'm also a business owner. I'm also financially, independent and all that. So that's what we sought to do. And we do believe that for you to have relevance, relevance is not the word. To be listened to be in the room, to take a seat, you've got to, first of all, have I won't say first of all, but you must be financially, independent, so that you can be in the room when things are happening.
All students are super excited about the conference. They shared how the conference is very impactful.
This is the maiden conference, and to be frank, it's up to the standard I expected. And there's really a lot to take home from this conference, especially the women. They've been preaching a lot about women finding their feet in the society. And this is like a bedrock for us to come together and actually know what to do as women. Not necessarily that we're old girls of Aboloma, but also it's helping us to find our footing in ourselves, our businesses, in all that we do, and also to be an impact to the society in general.
Of course, it's like a financial literacy program for us women. And as the first speaker said, it's not too late. It's not too late to start as women, and we have to be us first as women. If we build ourselves as women, then we'll be better wives, better mothers, better people to the society. And of course, the second speaker said a lot about building financial portfolios, multiplying our finances. It's not just saving, but of course, investing and multiplying our finances.
Some speakers at the event encouraged the women to always seek to solve problems, avoid dream killers, and carry as little as they can so they can soar.
Well, that's a wrap for today. I hope you enjoyed the events on this episode of Plus Events. Remember, if you want to showcase your events to the world, Plus TV Events is the place for you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I'm Jacinta Obiugo. Please stay safe.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
Sometimes when we see celebrities either on social media, television, or in person, we assume they have it all together, but we forget that they're also human. Well, here are some of the low points of some of your favorite celebrities.
Photography for me was more a means of expression than, at the beginning, than a source of income, you know. Luckily for me, my fine art career had picked up, so I was making a living as a painter while developing the passion for photography. So that gave me the opportunity, you know, to stand my ground and beat out a path, you know, towards the mastery of my craft, and then become You know, the Kelechi Amadiobi that you people know today is all about insisting that my work had to be excellent. You see, I always tell people, do not chase success. You attract success by developing yourself. So when you apply yourself, you learn new ways, you improve your learning, you practice what you've learned. Once you improve yourself, then you add more value to the world, and then the world has no choice than to add financial value.
It took me 2 years to set up my house. I have to support my son. I have to do some things for my siblings, my younger ones. So it took me 2 years. I was making money by then. I was saving money, going to locations, but I was using a Nokia phone. I don't get carried away with anything. I don't want to stay in Lekki by force. I decided to keep my dignity against all odds. But during this period, a lot of people mocked me. How can you be staying in Obawole, Iju Shaga? Do what you can afford. Don't pass your boundary. Don't try to impress anybody. Live within your means.
Back then, when I was schooling in University of Jos, I was making music with them, Jesse Jags, Ice Prince, and everybody, Jeremiah Gang. You know, I didn't have a laptop. So, and I remember Chopsticks had one laptop that he wasn't using, but he was looking for how to sell it. So he could gather money and go back to school, and, you know, so I told him that, you know, give me this laptop, let me just borrow it. And before the next day, I zoomed to Lagos. I mean, it wasn't intentional, but I needed a laptop so bad to get my music going. And I think that's one downtime story that I've actually never told anybody. Things might be difficult, things might look like it's not gonna happen. People might even look at you like you don't know what the hell you're doing, but just as long as you know that you have your particular goal that you're trying to, you know, achieve, just stay focused with it. You know, do whatever seems possible, do whatever it takes to, you know, get to it. Because at the end of the day, winning is all that matters. Winning is all people care about. So make sure you go out there and just win. That's all.
I loved storytelling. Every time I watched a film or every time I was in stage acting, I would come alive, you know. And I sort of like knew that was what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. That was what would bring me fulfillment. But the reality was I was a third-year student in a University of Technology studying chemical engineering. So I decided to quit. I decided to drop out of school. It was a struggle. No one wanted to listen to me. My family thought I was going crazy. Someone, you know, my older brother thought I was smoking something. You know, but I tried to convince them and no one listened to me. So what I did was to try and finish. So I went back to school, finished my engineering course, and by then I had almost forgot my dream to be in entertainment. So what happened was I served, got into an engineering firm, oil and gas, and I became an engineer, you know, going offshore, going to the field. But, you know, the dream started to come alive again. You know, I'd watch movies, I'd get invited to on set by my friends, and you know, that spark started to burn again. You know, I started to see myself doing things, acting films, telling stories, and I couldn't sleep at night. I would dream and imagine myself in the entertainment world, and I'd come alive. So I decided I'd quit my job. And I walked back to my seat. I said goodbye to oil and gas and engineering, and I focused and faced entertainment, and that's how I got to where I am today.
To be honest, I don't want to give anybody like a hope like it's some easy thing to do. But rest, man. Okay, firstly, when you rest, then you pray. And that's real, man. It's not because I'm not even a churchgoer or anything, but this is real. It's because there's a power that's beyond you that works for you if you accept it or decide to go in that direction. So, for me, what works for me, what has worked for me, Buju, Daniel Benson, is I just kneel down and I tell God, like, this was popping and I want him to change it. Before I went into music, to be honest, like, in church, my mom forced me to church. So I go down on my knees and I tell God I want to go into music because I don't know what I'm doing in my life. And I started making music. I was in 300 level IT, I was working. They were making me carry files from places to places. And I was studying computer science technology in codes. And I'm like, this is not making any sense. Then going back to school and knowing I can't make music while being in school because of the hustle and bustle and everything. So I leave school and I take that decision upon myself to become something with my gift, because the Bible says your gift will make room for you. So it works, man. If there's anything you want to take from that, you can take that, but that's what works for you, right, G?
Oftentimes when we see celebrities either on social media, television, or in person, we assume they have it all together, but we forget that they're also human. Well, here are some of the low points of some of your favorite celebrities.
This is the Greater Lagos Vision, and I'm your host, Love Ikuku Oyedokun. Lagos now has 2 additional newly approved universities. They are the Lagos State University of Education, LASUED, and Lagos State University of Science and Technology, LASUST. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the headquarters of the National University Commission, NUC, in Abuja, received the clearance certificates for the 2 new institutions to kick off. Welcome. This is the Greater Lagos Vision. This episode features: ahead of 2023 elections, Sanwo-Olu holds Legislative Executive Parley, calls for unity. Healthcare. Governor Sanwo-Olu commissions ultra-modern facility in Amuodofin local government area. Care for the vulnerable. Governor Sanwo-Olu launches Sweepy initiative. These and many more when we return. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, says his administration will continue to partner with the legislative arm to make Lagos the pride of all. At the opening ceremony of the 2022 Executive Legislative Parley, the governor harped on the theme of the event tagged "Mobilizing Citizens as a Social Capital Towards 2023 General Elections." Sounding the theme of the event.
The theme of this parley, mobilizing citizens as a social capital towards our 2023 general election. I believe the discussions and the topic, it's not only apt and proper, it will indeed refreshing us and set the tone for what will begin to happen between now and our 2023 election.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila,
represented by the leader of Lagos State Caucus in the House, Dolapo Badru, commends the important role played by the legislature as the life of the party, the All Progressive Congress, APC.
We are enhancing the party, bringing everybody together. At the end of the day, when it's time to mobilize the citizens, we are mobilizing on behalf of APC.
Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly, Modashiru Obasa, is confident the party will engender political discussions with benefits.
As we prepare for another election year, this is the need to emphasize the fact that access to political education increases engagement in politics by developing the citizens' cognitive skill, which in turn enables them to process complex information about political system and to enhance feeling of civic duty.
Earlier in his address, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu enjoined all to throw their weight behind the party's national leader, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, in his presidential bid. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reiterated his administration's commitment to deliver on ongoing projects before the end of the year. The governor spoke at the commissioning of the Senator Oluremi Tinubu Primary Health Care Center at Amuwodofin local government area of the state. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu making his way to the newly constructed Senator Oluremi Tinubu Ultramodern Primary Healthcare Center amidst cheers from residents of Amuwodofin. The chairman of Amuwodofin local government, Valentine Buraimo, expressed optimism that the commissioning of the primary healthcare center would positively impact the health of the people.
The vision of the Ultramodern Primary Healthcare Center came to be when I visited the existing one within the council secretariat and saw that the facility was overwhelmed by human traffic seeking medical attention.
Governor Sanwo-Olu promised that his government will remain committed to ensuring more developmental projects in the area.
There's also the important Lagos-Badagry Express Road. I'm sure it's an important road for you. From Igomu to Okokomaiko, the stretch on the Lagos-Badagry Express International Road is already receiving extensive construction, and we're believing that by the middle of this year, the road construction to Okokomaiko will have been completed.
Sanwo-Olu excited the gathering when he hinted that the blue rail line will be completed before the end of the year.
Your blue line is almost 90%, and we're pushing to ensure that before the end of this year, I will join you on a train ride on the blue line on this corridor.
On the flip, the event was an opportunity for Governor Sanwo-Olu to drum home his message and support for the presidential ambition of the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, ahead of the 2023 elections.
At the sacrifice of our national leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will certainly not go in vain. And that's why we're encouraging everyone that the journey that we have started at ensuring that we'll have Asiwaju representing us and center is on the right course.
Sanwo-Olu reiterated the need for all to get their permanent voters card in preparation to make the right choices at the general polls in 2023. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has urged individuals and corporate organizations to join hands with his government to give hope to the vulnerable in society. He spoke at the official launch of the Social Welfare Integrated Program Initiative, SWIPI. The hall is full and all set for the business of the day. It is the official launch of the Social Welfare Integrated Program Initiative, SWIPI, dedicated to care for the vulnerable in society. 9-year-old Chidima and Suwebat, 12, were a case study when Governor Sanwo-Olu mounted the podium to speak.
I stopped the convoy and they were scared. And I asked them not to be scared. That should you tell me who they are. The lady that is in something that appears as a school uniform, because we're going to find out. Her name is Chidima Amarachi. She's 9 years old. Guess what she said? She said she's not going to go to school until Monday. And I asked her why. She said her parents cannot afford.
This is just one of many challenges faced by the vulnerable in Nigeria. No thanks to the breakdown of the family structure and the absence of a social security system in Nigeria.
There are several Amarachi and there are several Suebat who will not have the opportunity that I'll be driving past, and I'll take the decision to stop and hear their story. This is why I'm indeed happy that even all of us that are in this room that have come to listen to an initiative called Sweepy, we all can make the difference.
Sweepy is aimed at supporting orphanages, elderly care and other vulnerable groups in the state.
The Social Welfare Integrated Program Initiative is an idea whose time has come. The social welfare system is the bedrock of any functional modern society.
The First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, believes that addressing the plight of the most vulnerable in society could not have come at a better time than now.
And most of us are going to grow old and retire. There must be something in place. So if we don't make noise now, we find ourselves in that situation. So we need to start talking now that please, policies need to be put in place, rules and regulations need to be put in place. Even for the orphanages, we have quite a number of them roaming the streets. A lot of things are happening out there. And so policies need to be put in place. Enforcements also need to be put in place.
Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu is now to wear the cloak of the Grand Patron of Sweepy. All, including the community, have a huge role to play in educating the boy child, as these will help in stemming societal ills. These were the words of the wife of the Lagos State Governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, at the workshop on the Boy Child Initiative.
Better informed, better informed,
Better informed, we do better. That was a message from this workshop. The theme speaks volume. The 21st century boy child speaking with confidence. Wife of Lagos State Governor Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu blames the society for robbing the boy child of his confidence. She wants this narrative changed.
They're painting the boy child bad. He's always bullying. He's a macho man. That's the only thing we hear about them. Okay, maybe one of them became president, governor, but the story and the picture we're having out there is not good. And we want to change the narrative. We want them to know that the boys are also very useful men.
Everyone is unique, so says the First Lady, who insists no child should be underestimated, but be given all needed support for them to realize their full potentials.
For us in the community, we have a lot of work to do. We are going to be the community parents, community police officers ourselves, to ensure that every child goes to school. It doesn't pay us when one child is left behind. It might be that child that is roaming the streets, the most brilliant, but doesn't have the opportunity to go to school.
The Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, boosts the morale of the students.
I'm not saying don't have an interesting life, but let's make sure that you are focused. Let's have what is your focus? Your focus is to become a professional, to add value to society, to add value to yourself, so that when I buy your services, I'm going to be buying at a high rate.
These boys are ready to take up challenges and be problem solvers.
Readers of today are leaders of tomorrow. When you take your time to read, work hard in the early age, then definitely you achieve your goal.
They should be of themselves. They should not allow anyone to define them. The esteem they have for themselves will be the one to determine their long way.
Speakers at the event advised the boys to be wary of the company they keep in order not to jeopardize their future. After a series of complaints by motorists, the Lagos State government has now introduced a much easier system of registering and checking vehicles for roadworthiness. There has been a surge at some vehicle inspection centers in the aftermath of the newly introduced No Vehicle Inspection, No Roadworthiness Certificate policy. I'm now being joined by the Lagos State Chief Vehicle Inspection Officer, Engineer Akin George Fashola, for more insights into this policy. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on this episode.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, we'd like to know from you, because some members of the public are not really too in tune with what's going on currently. Tell us exactly, what is the much ado about this no vehicle inspection, no roadworthiness certificate policy of the Lagos State government?
Thank you very much. So, for the most part, it's been the policy that's been in place. But what we are saying now is that we are no longer prepared to issue a roadworthiness certificate without seeing the vehicle first. And the reason for seeing the vehicle is just to make sure and to also inform vehicle owners of the status of their vehicles, what condition it is in, what they need to fix, and for their own safety. And it also lends its hand in Mr. Governor's vision for a better Lagos in terms of traffic management. All these incessant breakdowns that we have on our roads, it'll go a long way in trying to reduce the numbers of breakdowns that we have on the road, both for private and commercial vehicles. So no one is exempt from this policy. It is a policy to make sure that our roads are free and clear for movement, that we reduce the numbers of breakdowns, and especially the fatalities on our roads that have to do with mechanical faults that you would normally find on a vehicle.
Let's look at the environment, because these emissions that comes from the vehicles, they have a way of polluting the environment. You know, cities, not just in Lagos, but cities across the world.
Part of the inspection that we do is to check for emissions levels on all the cars that come to the service centers. So there is a minimum safety standard that you have to meet, which is set by the Lagos State Environmental Agency. And so engine like a tune-up, maybe the spark plugs are not firing properly, maybe the cylinder heads are out of alignment. Those are just things that will throw emissions out of shape. And so by going for inspection, you will be alerted to those infractions in your vehicle, so that you know, and because we all share the roads, and if everybody's emitting dangerous gases, and then, you know, it's not a safe place for us to drive on. So it's part of the process of the inspection to make people aware of what is coming out of the engines. So that's it.
Now, let's look at Mr. Governor's dream, his vision for Lagos State, the theme's agenda. If you have to juxtapose this no inspection vehicle, no roadworthiness policy, can you juxtapose side by side to tell us how exactly does it fit into the vision?
In terms of the state's vision and what Mr. Governor sees,
the
theme's agenda. So if we can reduce the numbers of breakdowns on our road, which is one of the major causes of traffic, you would agree with me, when a vehicle, whether it be private, whether it be commercial, breaks down on a major road, the tailback is just horrendous. And if we can bring that to the barest minimum, it'll go a long way in moving traffic along Lagos Road, which is at an all-time high at this point. And then we are also trying to augment that by the water, transportation. Soon we will get on the rail transport sector.
Blue and red line.
Yes, the blue and the red lines. Yes, And we are already running high capacities on the buses, the BRT lanes, the other sections that we are doing. So if the vehicular movement on Lagos roads is brought to a minimum, that'll make the traffic from point A to B a lot faster and more efficient for everyone involved. So it forms part of the magic that we want to create in Lagos in terms of stress-free transportation. So by bringing a vehicle for testing, you know what is wrong with the vehicle, and we have helped you ascertain that, okay, you need to fix this, you need to fix that, that you wouldn't necessarily know, and then we are all in sync in terms of, okay, you're allowed to go and do whatever it is that will bring your vehicle up to par with the rest of the vehicles that are on the road. It just makes everything more seamless. It makes the transport go faster. There's less hassle and bustle on the road. And then LASMA can do primarily what they're meant to do, which is direct traffic, try to augment where we have hotspots and all these other issues that we have on the road. Everybody has a part or a role to play in that aspect of it.
Members of the public, they have complained about the time wasted, the time, it consumes when they get in here to get their vehicle inspected, for the roadworthiness test. But to be fair to you and your agency, we were here last time and we saw that there was no crowd here at all. So tell us exactly, what did you do? What is that magic wand that you used to make sure that there are no more crowds, the place is no more overcrowded?
What we found out when we started was that people were cramming certain centers, whereas other centers were hardly seeing any patronage. It's understandable because the centers that were being crowded are the ones that were in major either commercial activity areas or where people converge in the mornings, and they were seeing heavy traffic. Now, that is quite unfortunate, and the way we have been able to circumvent that is that henceforth, at the beginning of February, so we took the guesswork out of, okay, just go to any center that you want. You can still go to any center that you want, but it'll be on an appointment-based testing. So when you come, when your roadworthiness is about to expire and you want to renew it, so you will come, renew, and at the point of renewal, they will tell you these are the centers available, these are the time slots available, and these are the days available. So you will pick one that is within your preferred choice. Let's put it that way. The one so we are only seeing people on appointment now.
Right, that my vehicle is being brought here, or I brought my vehicle here for the test.
Yes.
Is that an automatic pass for me? That at the end of the day, I'm going to leave with the vehicle, the certificate. What if there are some major faults? What happens?
Now, for you to pass, there are safety critical elements that which we will look at. Your brakes, your lighting, your suspension efficiency, the emissions that we talked about earlier, and then also things that people take for granted, like you don't have side mirrors, you don't have a tail light that when you press the brakes, someone can see it from behind you. Your headlights, they come on, but they're not pointing in the right direction.
Sorry for cutting in here. If we look at all of these things that you have listed, in fact, I don't know, and I'm not sure there's any way these commercial buses, will be able or can pass this test.
So long as the vehicle meets a mechanical aspect that is suitable to the state law, then, we can pass them. We do the test for them just as we do the test for private citizens. So everybody goes through that test. Most of the time when people say, oh, I don't see them at your test center, that is because a lot of them don't come to the test centers per se because of their scheduling. So we go to the parks and the garages to do the test for them.
You take it to them at the garage.
Take it down to them, because one of their many complaints is that, yeah, exactly, that, oh, if I'm at your center, I'm not earning any money. Okay, fine. I will bring the test to your garage. So we have a cordial relationship with the park chairman. Every park has a chairman, and by having a cordial relationship with them, they line them up in the morning. We have a schedule in which we rotate to go and inspect the vehicles there. And those that don't come for inspection, we enforce them on the streets of Lagos.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time with us on the Greater Lagos Vision.
Thank you very much.
Where you've heard it all from him, it is for our roads to be safer, for the safety of every one of us. It's for your benefit as well as mine. So why not, if not, just go get the certification and you will be glad you did at the end of the day. Well, that's all we have for you on this segment of the Greater Lagos Vision. Please stay with us. That's all we have for you on this episode of the Greater Lagos Vision on Plus TV Africa. I'm Lovey Kuku Oyedoku. Bye for now.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
At least your treacherous body would have been manure for the motherland. Listen to the words of a corpse. You cannot win this war.
My production career started off practically by some form of divine intervention. I work in TV production, and I've done that in advertising for over 20 years. I do storytelling as well. I do narrative. I've done films, TV series, etc. I taught myself to draw, and that meant 4 hours of sketching every day, minutely competent, where people will say, this doesn't suck. You actually have to practice.
For God's sake, Emeka, we don't even have enough guns or food. What were you thinking?
If you and Uzogu had not unleashed your unique brand of madness last January, we wouldn't be swimming in beers and blood.
It was a revolution!
I was one of my uncles, and he got me a job in, then it was Vanguard newspapers in Apapa.
and I got to meet all my heroes, because in those days I knew every cartoonist of every Nigerian publication by name, because I would always look for the signature. Advertising was obviously the way to go. English then, if you're doing English, you're either going to be a teacher or something. I was like, no, this is a cool industry. This industry is really cool. It's really films I've made, TV series I've done. But let me just jump forward. The most recent thing I've done I'm extremely proud of is being one of the 3 directors on MTV Sugar, Niger. Then you have to learn. So when I came into production, I was always asking questions. So I was on a quest to know why this visual image was better than this visual image. And that got me into studying and learning about production. It helps to be always focused on what will make you win. There's a very healthy sense of motivating yourself to always get things right. Make sure your work is up to standard. It resembles anything else across any other platform across the world. The second thing is it must have your identity. It must have your strong cultural identity.
Human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights once and for all.
There was no question that that was the most important moment and sentence that was being said, and became central to the whole Beijing Women's Conference.
I remember it felt very exciting, almost like a Woodstock for women or something. It was breaking new ground.
It was the biggest gathering of governments which committed to gender equality.
It was just completely transformational for me. It was this sort of pivot point where all of a sudden the path appeared.
I was there, and it changed me. I'm Sally Field. The 4th UN Women's Conference in Beijing inspired me to take a bigger role in women's rights. We've made great strides over the past 20 years, but a vast distance lies ahead. The women you are about to meet are true global leaders, groundbreakers, innovators, agents of change. We began our journey in China with Peggy Liu, a leading voice in the environmental movement. Peggy is taking steps to make a more green China and in turn help our planet. She brings together the best minds to create innovative and...
You've really seen nothing like it until you land in China and you take a look at the skyline.
To deal with China's growing pains from unprecedented economic growth, Peggy Liu, an MIT-educated engineer, started JUICE, or Joint U.S.-China Collaboration on Clean Energy.
JUICE is a nonprofit organization, really a volunteer organization of some of the top experts around the world who want to help China go green as fast as possible.
Peggy brings together top international experts and Chinese officials to discuss new ideas and technologies to solve China's environmental problems. Peggy's upbringing and heritage helped her move seamlessly across cultures.
Just being born Chinese in America has helped me figure out how to be a cultural bridge.
Her first major accomplishment was to accelerate the adoption of smart grid in China.
Because it allows us to put more solar and wind energy onto a traditional grid. It reduces the need for buildup of power plants. Since we introduced this to China, China has really become the leader in investing in smart grid technologies around the world.
Peggy began promoting clean energy in China, but over the years has expanded her work.
Livability is the single biggest challenge. We need to make sure that we have shared spaces for these tens of millions of people that are coming into China's cities.
In order to accomplish this, JUICE reaches out to mayors, as Peggy explained in a recent TED Talk.
In China, one of the most effective channels is to teach government leaders about how they can build the China dream as they're building new cities, as they're building 226 cities with 1 million or more people. So now the power of this is that in a short amount of time, we've been able to reach out to over 900 mayors. And these mayors might have 1 million people, they might have 30 million people in one single city.
Mayors can impact the environmental policies in China in the short term, but the long-term sustainability will depend on the actions of future generations.
Before you add any sugar, try it.
We can teach children how to make a huge impact in climate change through their stomachs. So we created a new way to eat, or teaching them how to eat in a way that's good for you and good for the planet. As a mother, like hopefully every parent, I do feel a personal responsibility to make a change in the world, to leave a better world for my kids and their kids.
To Peggy, China's crisis is both personal and urgent.
I know you've heard and seen these ugly pictures of pollution in China, and yes, this is affecting the rest of the world. 25% of the particulate matter in Los Angeles, for example, is drifting there from China. So we know that we need to win this battle on pollution. We need to win this battle on clean energy. But to do that, we really need to learn how to capture the essence and the beauty of Chinese heritage while we chase this urbanization and modernization.
Perhaps bamboo, which is fast-growing, strong, and beautiful, is the best metaphor for Peggy's vision for China.
Bamboo is really symbolic of the type of nature that we need to preserve in the cities as we urbanize. We need to bring to life the soul of bamboo, but in our concrete jungles. The single step that led me on this journey was actually an accidental one. Chinese have this saying, it's called 缘分 or fate, and I really feel like juice has been my calling.
Katie Myler founded Liberia's first tuition-free school for underprivileged girls. Building educational infrastructure in Liberia was challenge enough, but she soon faced something more formidable: Ebola. A great leader presses on in even the most difficult of situations. That's exactly what Katie did during the epidemic. Fighting on the front lines against Ebola was worth the risk because it meant protecting her girls.
I think that no matter where you go in the world, we are humanity and we're all the same. Each of us has a calling in our life, and for whatever reason, I was brought to Liberia when I was 23, and I saw a need that I knew that I could do something about, and I couldn't turn my back on it. Liberia is a beautiful place, but it's full of struggle. It was a country that has been devastated by war.
In post-war Liberia, 2/3 of the country lives in poverty. Only 35% of children are in school, and 42% suffer chronic malnutrition.
You know, I think I do see myself oftentimes in these kids, and whether that's right or wrong, it's the truth. I think that's empathy has a lot to do with, what drives me. And I grew up poor in America, but despite the poverty that we lived in, there were safety nets.
Katie started the More Than Me organization in Liberia to provide some of the support she had.
It's about living for something bigger than just yourself.
You studying hard? Yes. I want to see you people reading plenty. It's important you can read well. If you read, you can teach yourself anything you want.
We focus on the most vulnerable young girls in Liberia, specifically in a slum called West Point. It has one of the highest rates of child exploitation, sexual exploitation in West Africa. We have our own academy for these young girls. Our mission was really to make sure that when they graduate that they have real choices. They can decide what comes next for their own lives. We believe that no young girl should be on the streets, when her biggest dream is to go to school.
As More Than Me Academy wrapped up its inaugural school year, the Ebola outbreak hit and shut it down.
There's a baby on the verge of death.
Katie turned her school into a first response unit to aid Ebola victims at ground zero.
I had spent 6 months on the front lines fighting in the community. People were afraid. Businesses shut down. International organizations left. It was scary. You know, I was afraid for the lives of our students. To be honest with you, I was afraid that Liberian existence was at risk. So we coordinated ambulance responses and